Now, I want to continue this conversation about sexuality, okay? And another topic that men need to understand and protect violently is their internal sexuality. That stuff that nobody sees that goes on inside your heart and mind, the way we look, the way we lust, the way we objectify, the way we intrigue, all the secrets that are inside of us. And men, this is an important area, and women, this applies to you as well, okay? In James 1:15, it says, first lust, then sin, then death. Okay, lust is the inside job. It's where the seed is in the ground. You can't see it, okay? Sin, okay, is you can see that stuff. And death, that's the consequences. You can see that stuff. But lust is a seed, okay? And if you continually plant lust into this fancy dirt called a human being, because men, remember, we were made from dirt, okay? Well, seeds get planted in dirt, okay? And if we plant lust, you won't see it right away, but we will in time reap sin and death in so many things in our future. And I'm telling you from experience, please listen to me. I've had over 5,000 men who thought they could lust and not have consequences. I can't tell you how many Christian men have told me the message that they got from church growing up is, now, you can look, but don't touch. They felt as long as they didn't actually touch a woman inappropriately, they were being good boys. Now, this led them to objectify and lust without restraint because they felt like they were allowed to look. They could get into porn and still justify themselves because I'm still being a good boy because I haven't actually done anything with the woman. But this leads into a really big issue because lust is a big deal. And so is intriguing with women. I have a whole DVD on intrigue addiction, you know, where these long looks that give energy back and forth to each other, okay? And it happens again and again, you know, checking women out, continuing to be overly friendly and nice with women, a lot more eye contact, a lot more how you doing, tell me more about, you know, working women to get energy from them. That's intriguing, okay? It won't qualify for lust, so you might feel like, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong, but you know that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, okay? Now, you've conditioned yourself to lust, possibly. And because you are totally neuroplastic as a human being, okay, which means you can grow in any direction you want to at any time you want to, okay, you can recondition yourself to stop lusting or objectifying women. Now, let me explain something to you that is probably the cheapest method you'll ever hear from a counselor to stop a behavior, okay? And I got this in my master's degree in seminary, and it works for lust amazingly. So what you do is get yourself a little rubber band, and you put it on your wrist, okay? And every time that you objectify, scan, notice someone's proportions. God has not called you to be a woman inspector, okay? If you're inspecting women, you're out of order. You take it and you snap it and bang. And you can quote some kind of scripture. You know, what should I do? I should think on things that are true, just, worthy of praise. Should I continue in sin? God forbid. Pick your favorite scriptures to attack this, okay? But use the rubber band because in about 30 days of using it, about 80% of your lust life disappears because your brain becomes your friend and says, stop doing that. Instead of right now, if you've conditioned your brain to lust and give it those chemical rewards, especially if you're involved in pornography or self-behavior, you have infuriated that process and you need to shut it back down. Now, there's so much more in the book, Sex, Men, and God and Lust-Free Living, okay, that you can get to really, really help you walk through this. Now, I want to spend some time here because I'm in the internal world. I'm in your heart. God sees the heart. He sees you lust after the waitress. He sees you looking at people that are just innocently doing their job or having a good day. And it breaks his heart that you would look at his little girl that way. That's his little girl. Every daughter, even if she's hanging out of her shirt and she's wearing those skin tight stuff that girls do nowadays, still his daughter. She may not value herself, but you need to value her. Okay? And pray for her. Say, God, this woman needs help. She doesn't need my lust. Now, I do encourage men to start a group of sex men and God, okay? This is not an addiction group. This is basically, let's go through this material so that we can all be better equipped to win the battle that's already upon us. Okay, Jesus said, occupy until I come. You want to own this territory of sexual strength, okay? You don't want it to be owned by the enemy inside your heart. Your wife can't see inside your heart. Now, she can feel it. She might call you on it, and you might lie about it. But God does see it, and he hates it, okay? I know he's convicted me many times over the years. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that, right? I'm not saying that all men have to deal with this, okay? And it's important that we love our men and we love our young men to understand and protect their internal sexuality as well as their external sexuality. I want you to think about who are some of the men you want to be sexually strong, okay? Your pastor for sure, right? You want him, and if it's a woman, you want her to be sexually strong, okay? Because you don't want the church falling apart. You don't want the church sued. You don't want to go through all the embarrassment of that. And half of my pastors, since I've been saved over like 40 years now, have fallen to sexual sin in one way or another. Okay, so I do know the pain of a pastor falling. Okay, and if that's you and you're still dealing with the pain, talk to somebody. Okay, you want your husband to be sexually strong because you're depending on him spiritually, emotionally, financially, romantically, and every other way, in parenting. Okay, you want your children to be sexually strong. Okay. And that's really important. And your grandchildren. You want to leave a legacy of sexual integrity because God will bless that seed. Okay? Now, of course, you want young men in your church who have no fathers, young men in the church who are going to secular schools, which is the majority of them.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.